Hi, this is Samantha with Clawfoot Farm, and a question that we are often asked about how we farm our quarter-acre suburban space is what to do with the meat that we produce. We have rabbits and chickens on our farm, and the rabbits we have for meat purposes, so we have meat rabbits. And today we're going to show you how we prepare the rabbit. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to smoke rabbit. It's so yummy. Like, I can't even tell you how good it is to smoke the rabbit. So what we're going to do first is create a dry rub. Okay, so the dry rub is really simple. So for each rabbit that you do, we're going to do 1 tablespoon of salt. So we're doing 2 rabbits today, so I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of salt. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of pepper. 1 for each rabbit. Ooh, we're almost out of pepper. Okay. We're going to do a tablespoon of garlic for each rabbit. So we're going to do 2 tablespoons of garlic. This garlic powder is from our garden. We just took the garlic cloves, dried them, and ground them up. So it's pretty fresh. And then we have a tablespoon of cayenne pepper. And the reason why this is in the blender, oh my gosh. And the reason why this is in the blender, it's a lot of cayenne pepper, is because we actually make our own cayenne pepper powder. These are the peppers that we grew last year, and they are dried and vacuum sealed. And then when we run out of cayenne pepper, we just put them in the blender and grind them up. So this is our dry rub that we're going to put right on the rabbit before we put it in the smoker. And now we have our 2 rabbits and our dry rub is all prepared. So what I'm just going to do is take the dry rub and rub it all over the rabbits. Just going to sprinkle it right on. I'm just going to use half on each one. And then rub it right in there so that it sticks to the rabbit. Go. And I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Alrighty, so I'm going to let this set right here on the counter while we go get the smoker all put together.
Hello, welcome to our afternoon here. We're going to smoke some rabbits. They're in there with a nice dry rub. And while they marinate a little bit, we're going to put together our smoker. Got a heating element, slips right in the side. And you run a plug to an extension cord. Several bits and pieces here that are important. There's a rack that hangs just above the heating element. And there you're going to have a water pan. And you're going to have your container for your wood chips. We like to use several kinds depending on what type of flavor you'd like to have kind of infused there into your meat. Apple, always very popular. Mesquite as well. And you just change that in and out as that turns into ash, probably about every 90 minutes or so. Keeps the smoke really roiling in there, and you're not just roasting, you're actively smoking those, and it really can really tell the difference at the end. But these all fit right down on the bottom. Got several hangers that just go right in the side, and they're adjustable. It's like putting a shelf rack together. Pick out which height you'd like to have them in there, depending on what type of meat you're cooking. Good example is the difference between some chicken breasts and maybe a whole turkey. And let me tell you, if you've never smoked a whole turkey for Thanksgiving, you've been missing out. Pretty simply, they just slide right in there. You just plug her in. You want to have it come up to temperature. It takes about 20-30 minutes. Again, this is slow cooking, so you're never in a hurry when you're smoking. About 250 degrees for roughly 4 hours. Changes a little bit by the amount of poundage of meat you have in there, but you get a nice thorough cook, and you can't believe how juicy it is. Can't wait to put these rabbits in there. So roughly 30 minutes later, our smokers come up to temperature, and you can tell with all of that smoke pouring out of there, it's ready to go. We've got our rub on the rabbit, and let me tell you, it smells delicious, like spices and maple syrup. Can't wait to get them in there. Just gonna open her up, stand back. You're gonna get a blast of that mesquite and apple wood coming out of there like crazy. Alright. Now we're just going to drop them in there. One, two, just like that. Using a standard barbecue sauce. And what we're going to do is use a technique I refer to as mopping, which is just dabbing it on. And that way you don't knock all your rub off, rather than brushing, which you just move all your spices right out of the way. You just put some of this on both of them.
Can't really see it. There we go.
Don't need a great deal because you're going to be doing that over and over again, probably about every 30 minutes. And throughout the day, just want to keep it closed up, keep that smoke in as much as possible, and come through and change out the water and the wood chips about every 2 hours, and that way you'll get that nice, consistent, even smoky flavor, and they'll stay nice and tender in there throughout. So we're going to come back and check in a little while and continue to mop, and can't wait to dig in.
It's about 5 hours later, and I pulled the rabbits out of the smoker, and it looks like a kind of a big mess right now, pile of meat here, because it's so tender that actually it's just falling off the bone, and it kind of shredded as I was pulling it off. But see, it's still hot. Here we go. You can see, there we go. There's a good meat shot. Really crisp crust on the outside from the barbecue sauce and the dry rub, and the meat is juicy and tender and done, and it is just delectable.